There is a real choice for Indiana's 9th Congressional District, Dr. Eric Schansberg.
Hello, I'm Eric Schansberg. I'm the Libertarian candidate for Congress here in the 9th District of Indiana, taking on Baron Hill and Mike Sodrell. I'm an economics professor, and I'm figuring maybe knowing some economics might come in handy. There doesn't seem to be much of that in Washington, D.C. right now. The big issue that's on everyone's mind is gas prices, and there's two easy things to talk about there. One is that we need to drill now. The Democrats are at best lukewarm on that, and the Republicans are mostly in favor of it, but it's a no-brainer that we should drill in Anwar and off the Gulf Coast. On the Gulf Coast, someone's going to drill. It might as well be us. The second thing that neither of them are talking about, neither party is talking about, is the devaluation of the dollar. The dollar's gone down about 40% since 2002, and a lot of that's due to Congress and President Bush spending so much money. They're spending money like drunken sailors. They've got credit cards. They're ringing up the debt, and that has devalued the dollar significantly. And when the dollar has devalued by 40%, that means any imported good is going to be more expensive, including oil. And so the price of gas is up about 40%. About 40% of the price increase has been because of the devaluation of the dollar. So we would be paying less than $3 a gallon if it were not for that single factor. So that's actually the #1 problem with gas prices. And it's a little more sophisticated argument, but it's not that difficult. And second, of course, Democrats and Republicans can't talk about that issue because they're the ones that are devaluing the dollar through their fiscal policies. That leads me to fiscal conservatism, that we have to get back to fiscal sanity, some semblance of fiscal sanity in Washington, D.C. You bail out the housing industry, you bail out the banks, you spend the $300 billion to the farmers, $167 billion on a macro stimulus package. After a while, it adds up to real money. And at this point, we're just spending money hand over fist. The debt is just trashing the dollar, and it's causing all sorts of problems. We're going to drive our country into a ditch if we don't cut it out with the crazy spending and the debt. And the other big issue in the campaign is our ongoing efforts in Iraq. I like to say that we won the war in 6 weeks, but it's this nation-building thing that's a little more difficult. And whatever we've accomplished in Iraq, we can debate that, whether we should have gone, whether how long we should have stayed, and this, that, and the other. But whatever we have accomplished at this point, we're not going to accomplish anything more there, staying another 1, 2, or 10 years. And if people really support the war in Iraq, then they should have the courage to pay for the war in Iraq again instead of just putting it on credit cards. It's time for us to end our experiment in nation building. Let the people of Iraq, like al-Maliki wants, to have sovereignty over their own affairs here in the next, he wants 18 months, but I'd be fine with 8 to 12 months. We need to bring our troops home quickly. In my race, you've got Sodrell, who is basically taking the McCain-Bush position, and I respect that at least because he's consistent. He believes that's the right way to go. With Baron Hill, you've got a guy who votes for all the non-binding resolutions, but then votes to fund the war over and over again. The other position, which I think is the correct one, which is simply that we need to get out as soon as possible. So in this race, I'm running against two guys that have been at it. This is their 4th race. A lot of negative ads in the past, and they don't bring a lot to the table except mudslinging and name-calling. So I hope you'll give me a look. I'm an economics professor, and have, I think, a lot to offer in terms of public policy analysis. A lot of stuff, great stuff on the website, ericforcongress.com. So check that out, and I'd appreciate your consideration. And please vote for me November 4th. Thanks.